Bonnie Winokur, born in 1944, lived in Chelsea as a kid, lived in many different apartments throughout Boston and the Metro West area, and met Mary in 1984. We got together in 87, and we've been together ever since. It comes to about 34 years. Started teaching in 1965. I was already out as a lesbian. I came out when I was 18 years old. It was very difficult because you could have been fired if they would have found out. So I lived two lives and I lied a lot. Things got easier in the 90s and I began to tell certain people. But prior to that, from the 60s to the 90s, was very difficult. I love teaching. I love the kids. I love seeing you guys around. It makes me feel like I'm right back.
She's back teaching. She got to work. I grew up in Medford, and I was married for 23 years. I have a daughter, a son who's a science teacher, and another son, and 3 granddaughters. I did the regional research of birth control pills in the 60s.
Wow.
Best job I ever had in my life.
Maine is a wonderful, diverse community. There are a lot of gay people in Maynard, and we're very welcome in the community. I've never felt any discrimination in this town whatsoever.
Next question, how did you guys meet?
We met at a meeting. It was, a group of lesbians actually that were meeting out here in Concord. I don't think I'd ever been out this way in my life, to tell you the truth. The farthest west I ever got.
She's a city person.
So I came out and she was brand new. She was still living with her husband and her kids, and she spoke at that meeting and talked about coming out as a lesbian, and she had gone to therapy and she had been very unhappy. And us older women that were around, sort of took her under our wing, not just me, but everybody, and we became very good friends. She was going through a very tough time, leaving her husband and her kids and the dog and her home. We started talking, we became very good friends.
We were friends for a long time. Then you went to Florida.
Then I went to Florida, you're right. And I was sitting on the beach in Florida, all by myself on Christmas Day, which was very weird. And I thought about her, and I called her up and asked if she'd like to go out with me on my birthday. She had left her husband and she was living with somebody in Sudbury, and it was snowing out here, but raining where I was. And she said, I don't think I can drive into the city. So she stood me up, and it was my birthday.
She never forgave me for it.
And I had to decide, well, I was hurt. Should I be angry? And I thought, well, she's really a good person. She's really a nice person. So I said, let go of the anger. Try again. And we did. January 17th it was. And the rest is history.
It was a blast.
Go ahead.
We did it in Boston, and they took us to New York, and we were on the stage in New York with that movie.
In Tribeca.
In Tribeca, which was a trip and a half. Really fun.
The movie, it took place at the State House when we were fighting for marriage equality. A lot of people were very opposed to legalizing same-sex marriage. So it became a fight within the legislature, and we had to convince our state reps to vote no on an amendment to the Constitution which defined marriage as between a man and a woman. The legislature had to vote over in what they called a constitutional convention. It was pretty even. Those opposed, those for. We were at the State House, going from office to office, knocking on doors, saying, we're a gay couple, why can't we have the same benefits, like insurance, etc., etc. The reps liked us because we weren't intimidating. Some of the younger folks, especially the guys, they were very intimidated by, but we were able to calm them. Well, in the meantime, a man had heard about what was happening at the State House. He was from New York and he was a producer, and he thought, this could make a movie. So he came to the State House. A woman approached from the Boston Globe and said, do you mind if we follow you around? And we said, sure. The next day in the Boston Globe, full page, proponents on the top with our picture, opponents on the bottom, and some people who were very much against it. This man who was at the State House saw the article. Well, my philosophy was, if we can educate people, I'll talk to them. If we can change minds, I'll talk to them. He came down with a crew, just like yourself, and interviewed us. And they ended up selecting 6 couples. We were like the senior couple. I don't remember all of the details, but they chose 6 different couples in different situations and followed us around. Then he went to each and every one of the weddings, which was wonderful. So that's the story with the movie. It was exciting. One particular incident, the Supreme Court said that we could start getting married 6 months afterwards, which meant May 17th, 2004. 2004, the first marriages could take place. Most of the people got married right away on that date. Her granddaughter's
birthday is May
birthday was May 16th, so we couldn't get married on May 17th. We had to go to Maryland. And I opened up the New York Times, and I'm reading about what's going on in Massachusetts, and there we are in the New York Times.
In Maryland.
And I think there was a clip in the Washington Post, too.
Yeah.
First, we were going to have a small wedding. And then I said, no, this is history.
We invited the media.
We invited over 300 people. It was more like an announcement. We just sent an invitation. If they didn't want to come, if they were uncomfortable, they could easily refuse. We had 230 people at our wedding. We got married in the first parish in Sudbury. So that was the story of our wedding. And it was a very exciting time. We had all of our family there, every one of her siblings, and she came from a very devout Catholic family.
Very.
This is 2004, and she really didn't think that...
I didn't think my sister was going to come.
And you're happier today than you were.
Absolutely. Oh.
Anyway, that's the story of our lives.